So we're asked to put this expression into the form a root 2. So I want to change both of these square roots. I want to simplify them into root 2's. So the first one, 5 root 32. If I just look at square root of 32 first of all, a square number that goes into 32 is 16. So I can change the square root of 32 into a square root of 16 times 2. I can then separate out the square roots, and the square root of 16 is 4. So the square root of 32 is 4 root 2. So 5 lots of the square root of 32 is 5 lots of 4 root 2. 5 times 4 is 20, so 20 root 2. Let's do the same now for 2 root 8. We want to change it into a square root of 2. So 2 root 8. Well, let me look at root 8 first. Root 8, a square number that goes into 8 is 4. I can separate that out to root 4 times root 2. The square root of 4 is 2, so I get 2 root 2. That is square root of 8, but I want 2 lots of root 8, so I want 2 lots of 2 root 2, which is 4 root 2. So if we just look at what I've done in full now, I've got my 2 answers, which I now need to combine. So I want this totaled with this. So put these 2 together, add them together, and I get 24 root 2 as my final answer. You were asked, if we go back to the question, you were asked to put it into the form a root 2, and our final answer is 24 root 2. If you compare it to a root 2, I can see a is 24 and a is an integer. Final question, part B. So I've got 2 to the power of 5 over the square root to the power of 5. And I want to put it in the form root b over c. So first of all, I'm just going to work out what each of these numbers are. So 2 to the power of 5, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Now I'm going to think of the bottom as root 5 squared times root 5 squared times root 5. That's how I'm going to think about it. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. So I've got 32, well, root 5 squared is 5, times another 5, times root 5. So I've got 32 over 25 times the square root of 5. Now I want to get it into the format where there's no square roots on the bottom. So what this is asking you to do is asking you to rationalise the denominator, but it doesn't actually tell you to do that. That's why it's a tricky question. It's noticing that you're asked to rationalise the denominator. So how do I rationalise the denominator? Well, I'm going to times top and bottom by the square root of 5 to get rid of the square root of 5 on the bottom. So I have 32 square root of 5 on the top, and on the bottom I have 25 times 5. Root 5 times root 5 is 5. So now I have 32 over 25 times 5 is 125 times the square root of 5. So I have now put this into the format A over C times root B, where A and C are integers, they're whole numbers, and B is the square root of a number. So the question should have said, going back to the beginning, it should have said A root B over C, where A and C are integers.